Hey, you're amazing, man.
We're a little team. Me as the teacher who can still do it. You as the student who can do it, just not as good. I'm proud of us. I think they're a lot like me in terms of a public persona. I think there's a lot of similarities. I'm not positive my family would fully agree. But what I do agree with is the part of me that I'm realizing that I don't give value and don't give a lot of thought to is what I look like and how I dress. And like, for example, if I'm doing a long scene, but I know there's like 5 actors in it, I know it's going to take a long time. So I will ask if my character can be sitting down. Now, the sitting has nothing to do with the scene, but I figure it's going to be in close-ups. So really, do I have to stand while we're all doing it? Or could I sit? And if I'm sitting, is there a chance I can put my legs up? So a lot of those choices end up going into the character. And that is a through ground, you know, with me and all of them. So like Nick Miller from New Girl, there are similarities, but we're very different guys. But unfortunately for Nick, he did have to sit a lot and do a lot of Jake moves that became Nick moves. Like if you see him in like the sweatpants, and he ends up wearing slippers a lot. But those slippers were really what they give actors to have in your trailer when you take your work shoes off. Well, I just started going to work and wearing them, and then, you know, directors would go, "Are you wearing slippers, man?" And I'd go, "They were in my trailer." And they don't know what, so they'd be like, all right, I guess he's wearing like feet warming slippers. And I'd look over at Max and I'd be like, look at you in that tight suit. We each have a 14-hour day back to back. You're having a 14-hour day in a really tight suit. I'm in a sweat outfit with, you know, man slippers. So that connects. You know, if you look at Tag, there's really nothing about me and Chilli that are similar. Our lives are opposite. But the fact that he wears really loose-fitting 90s jeans, dad running shoes, and a very loose-fitting sweatshirt, that really is my character. You know, for Drinking Buddies, for example, that entire character's arc and of the romance and the other woman and that kind of like inner conflict between relational stuff. That's really never been me. I've been with my wife for 15 years. I never went through the whole like, do I love her? Where am I? For some reason, that really wasn't my thing. I'm not romantic enough. She was it. I was like, you're the one. I'm not a beer guy. Since that movie, a lot of people offer me IPAs. They give me hives. I grew up drinking. If I was going to drink beer, I like trash beer, like old style. But in doing that movie, I hung out with brewers. I had never had an IPA until Joe Swanberg took me in his basement and made me drink different IPAs because Luke loves IPAs, my character in that. But for me, I was like, oh, man, what could be more boring than drinking 6 different, like, or whatever the thing is called where all the beers are together. The way he reacts to Olivia Wilde's character over his wife, I cannot relate to at all. Now, the way all those characters dress, that's how I dress. I think part of the fun for me about this business is you don't fully want to know who an actor is. You want to believe they're their characters. So like on social media, Max and I, when we're on social media messing with each other, we do it as Nick and Schmidt. Because it's more fun. Makes us both laugh. But, you know, when we're talking on the phone, it's not exactly like that. But it's way more fun, too. The entire New Girl experience was really wild. I was an unknown actor before that started who was grinding really hard. I was in my late 20s, so I wasn't like a young guy. I had accepted my life as one thing, and that was kind of as a character actor who would bounce off and do a movie here and there and made enough money to live. And then to be on a show that became a hit. And that almost overnight, the country knew about it, or at least young people in the country knew about it. That was a really wild experience. Part of the thing about acting that I'm going to go opposite what I was saying before about the voiceover, that I really do love about it, and that I do find, like The Mummy, for example. I got to work out with Tom Cruise 5 days a week for 4.5 months. I got to fly in a helicopter with him. I got to be on his private jet from London to Africa. I got to hang with the man. These are really weird experiences. Learning how to ride a horse with top teachers, you know, having a top horse trainer, riding, you know, a horse that Russell Crowe worked with in another movie. The adventure of being an actor. And the adventure of you never know what's going to happen next, and you get those experiences. You know, Drinking Buddies, learning how to brew beer with top brewers, that's really cool. My inclusion into the Spider universe with this movie, being able to, truthfully, when I'm doing press, a true diehard fan will be like, before I do this interview, can I tell you a Stan Lee story? And I'll go, sure. Yeah. I now have such an insight into this world that it will now just become part of me. So if I'm lucky and we get to do sequels and Peter's in it, in 5 years when I do press, it will be as a Spider-Man fan. You know, you become the thing you're doing and the thing whatever it is. I love this burger. So delicious. One of the best burgers I've ever had. You have money, right? I'm not very liquid right now.
I think you're gonna be a bad teacher.